According to the plot of American McGee's Alice, an 8-year-old girl was the only survivor of a fire that claimed the lives of her parents and sister. This sad event greatly shook the child's psyche, and she began to blame herself for saving herself and not warning the others, although she could have done it. Suffering brought our heroine to a lunatic asylum and reflected in Wonderland, which was a figment of her imagination. In her free time from looking at the ceiling, the girl was engaged in self-torture, judging by her interests in the game menu. Suicidal tendencies are also evidenced by the phrase thrown by Alice in the game itself, "I am not afraid of death, sometimes I even call her." The girl spent about 10 years in a psychiatric hospital, until she again ended up in Wonderland. At first, just like in the good old days, she follows the White Rabbit. But this time, Alice has a new goal, to overthrow the Queen of Hearts and return the flowering species to the magical world. All the characters that the heroine meets on her way carry some kind of message. So, in Tweedledum and Tweedledee, Alice sees her jailers, and Jabberwocky, the embodied sense of guilt. First, in a fire, all the native girls died, and then, in the game itself, her friends and allies die one by one, the White Rabbit, the Griffin and the Cheshire Cat. And every time, crying over their bodies, Alice blames herself for their death. In general, the heroine cries quite often in the game, which shows us that all her cold impudence is nothing more than a mask behind which a fragile girl is hiding. By the end of the game, Alice realizes that she herself destroyed the fairy tale world and, by saving herself, she will also save Wonderland. McGee for a long time could not find an artist who could portray the heroine according to his idea. He did not want Alice to be pretty or sexy, something often abused by video game protagonists of the time. He needed a really gloomy girl. By destroying the Queen, Alice metaphorically overcame her fear and guilt, and at the same time, Wonderland returned to a fabulous look. In terms of psychology, American McGee's Alice seems to be deeper and more logical than the sequel, which was released in 2011. According to its plot, having been discharged from the hospital, Alice moves to London, where she again begins to be haunted by nightmares and hallucinations. And, as the title of Madness returns spoilers, the madness is back. Alice finds herself back in Wonderland and bit by bit collects memories of her childhood and that ill-fated night when the fire broke out. Only this time she periodically returns to the capital of England. A year has passed between the events of the games. During this time, Alice has changed outwardly, turned pale, lost weight, cut her hair, but still remained cynical and sharp-tongued. But as soon as the heroine returns to Wonderland, she again becomes what she was in the original game, well-groomed, ruddy, with long shiny hair. Such magical changes in her appearance demonstrate how Alice really sees herself. The riot, variety and variegation of clothes and the whole environment of the heroine are a reflection of her rich imagination. The image of Alice has already had a huge impact on culture, like the fairy tale itself. Alice herself, although changing in all her many incarnations, in most cases has some recognizable elements: a headband, a blue dress with an apron, striped stockings. But most importantly, in all interpretations of completely different Alice, curiosity and an ironic look at the world around us are united. Thank you for subscribing to the RTV Gaming channel so as not to miss new videos.